The WNBA has opened an investigation surrounding sounds heard as Angel Reese was throwing her free throw from the technical foul received in the Indiana-Chicago game yesterday.
The WNBA has just made their most drastic move, but while Caitlyn Clark is shattering records and packing arenas, league officials are busy looking into hateful remarks made at the Fever games. Oh, but only specific types of hate seem to matter, apparently. The double standard is ridiculous, and what happened next will make your blood boil.
Now, the allegations have since been proven untrue, okay? And the WNBA is in a very, very concerning place.
Let's dissect the entire circus that is playing out in front of us. The WNBA, which is purported to be a professional sports league, has humiliated itself in a way that defies reason. This is what transpired following the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game. This statement was issued by the WNBA. The WNBA vehemently opposes racism, hate, and discrimination in all its manifestations. They have no place in our league or in society. We are aware of the accusations and are investigating the matter, which seems reasonable enough. But now comes the interesting part. Specifically, some unidentified social media accounts claimed that Indiana Fever fans were making racist remarks during the game. There is no evidence or verified accounts, just claims from people who weren't even in the building, but the WNBA didn't hesitate and immediately began looking into these wholly unsubstantiated claims, while the things they aren't looking into speak volumes. It seems that the actual hate campaign targeting players of color on social media, which includes tweets with thousands of likes and horrifying racist epithets, doesn't require the same level of urgency. This hypocrisy is astounding. The league had to specifically alter their initial statement to focus only on the alleged fan behavior at the game rather than the documented hate speech directed at Indiana Fever players online. That's right. They purposefully narrowed their focus to exclude protecting Caitlyn Clark's teammates. People who were present at the game have repeatedly confirmed that they heard nothing but typical basketball heckling, which is something that occurs at almost every sporting event on Earth. But apparently it's dangerous and hostile when it occurs at a Fever game. Take this clip from last year, where a WNBA journalist made a serious claim that fans cheering for Caitlyn Clark hitting a deep three wasn't cheering, but rather hateful.
And gets called for a flagrant one foul. Reese said after the game about the play that she can't control the refs and that, quote, I guess some people got a special whistle. We'll hear Caitlyn's response in a bit, but we play on. Indiana up 3 with less than 40 to go. Who else deserves the ball?
I'm not making this up, but it seems that supporting your team is now regarded as hate speech if the player is Caitlyn Clark. What's especially troubling about this whole situation is the WNBA's readiness to ignore its own supporters. These are families and children attending basketball games. The arena was crowded with young girls eager to watch their heroes play. And what does the WNBA do by labeling them as dangerous, hateful individuals based on unverified tweets from people who weren't even present? The message couldn't be more clear. The WNBA and some groups within the WNBPA are prepared to alienate a whole fan base in order to demonstrate their lack of interest in gaining new followers, expansion, or Caitlyn Clark bringing women's basketball to the general public's attention. Let us discuss Dana Bonner-Aaliyah. The Selective indignation tells you all you need to know about the league's objectives. Boston and other Indiana Fever players have been a target of disgusting racial comments on social media. Where is the league statement denouncing that? Where is the investigation? The quiet is deafening. Scott, these words are not what you want to hear, as Agnes, a reputable reporter covering the Fever, put it so well. It seems like Dub should have waited until after the investigation was announced since there were no known allegations. But waiting for facts doesn't advance the goal, does it? This is about trying to control the narrative and counteract the Caitlyn Clark effect, not about shielding players from hate. If it were, they would be looking into the documented abuse of Indiana Fever players online. What's especially ridiculous is how differently basketball fans are treated across leagues. NBA fans can heckle, boo, and trash talk all day long. It's just part of the game. Media celebrities frequently refer to Lukas Doncic as overweight. This has earned a living by disparaging LeBron James and Dave Portnoy. His dislike of Angel Reese is shown as a terrible crime, yet referring to Caitlyn Clark by any name in the book is totally okay. It appears that only specific fans are permitted to engage in typical sports culture, even when Chicago fans were jeering and heckling Fever players during the same game, as they should have. The willingness to label harmless fans, including kids, as dangerous and hateful based on unverified social media claims is the most shameful part of this entire situation. These are families enjoying quality time together while watching women's basketball, and the kids saved their allowance money to see Caitlyn Clark play. The league simply labeled them all as problematic. Some people assert that during Angel Reese's free throw, they heard monkey noises. Others claim it was just the sound effect of the arena that plays during every free throw by the opposition team. People who were physically present at the game, including Black attendees, have repeatedly reported hearing nothing racist whatsoever. Dave Portoy, who is sitting courtside, has addressed this directly. "I was at the game, and if someone was being racist or saying racist things, obviously boot them, never let them back. I would be shocked beyond belief if that were the case." However, the WNBA didn't wait for evidence. They didn't interview witnesses. They saw some viral tweets and immediately issued a statement that cast suspicion on an entire fan base. This isn't just incompetent. It's malicious, and the timing couldn't be more suspicious. Caitlyn Clark just recorded a historic triple-double. The Indiana Fever games are selling out arenas, driving record TV ratings, and right on cue this is the criticism that tries to portray her support base as troublesome. Nobody is discussing the Washington Mystics' amazing comeback against the Connecticut Sun, which was led by rookies, because the league would like to concentrate on fabricating controversy rather than the real basketball game. This isn't a coincidence. Rather, it's a calculated attempt to damage the standing of the league's most popular player and her expanding fan following. This is the worst kind of gatekeeping. What impression does this give potential fans? Welcome to the WNBA, where you will be accused of racism right away. The unfortunate thing is that this might have been a great moment for women's basketball, but cheering too loudly for the wrong athlete is ridiculous, self-destructive, and demonstrates how afraid some league members are of the shifting landscape. The sport is receiving unprecedented attention thanks to Caitlyn Clark, and ticket sales are rising. TV ratings are skyrocketing. The league is intent on alienating the very people who are finally giving women's basketball the attention it deserves, as gear is flying off the shelves rather than welcoming this tsunami of support. It's worth noting that players like AJ Wilson and Kelsey Plum have been supportive and professional, acknowledging that Clark's popularity benefits everyone in the league, but their mature perspective seems to be in the minority. Former players like Cheryl Swoops and Chin Carter have been openly hostile toward Clark since before she even played her first professional game. The jealousy is palpable, and instead of celebrating the rising tide that lifts all boats, there's this strange determination to sink the ship. We can make fun of opponents, which adds individuality to the game. Caitlyn Clark is impolite when she celebrates a shot. Chicago, while Sky players are free to trash speak during the game, Indiana supporters jeering is getting out of hand. The All-Star Game is currently scheduled to take place in Indiana. Is this bizarre controversy an attempt to find a reason to move it? This league is at a crossroads right now. They can either embrace the new fans and the growth opportunity Clark represents, or they can double down on this bizarre gatekeeping that ultimately hurts everyone involved. At this point, nothing would surprise me. What's particularly annoying is how this manufactured drama takes attention away from the actual basketball being played. This season has seen some amazing on-court action, with impressive skill levels and entertaining games. But instead of emphasizing athletic accomplishments, we're confined to talking about league announcements and social media rumors. The WNBA has made their position quite apparent. There is no room for hate in their league unless it is directed toward Caitlyn Clark or her teammates, in which case it is okay. Heckling is also not permitted there unless it is directed against the Indiana Fever or Caitlyn Clark, in which case it is welcomed. This selective enforcement reveals the blatant hypocrisy at work. It's not about shielding players from abuse, but rather about deciding who should and shouldn't be protected. If the WNBA truly cared about fostering a respectful environment, they would denounce hate speech and look into the documented racial slurs directed at Indiana Fever players of color. Instead, they have divided themselves. They have decided that some fans are welcome while others are assumed guilty without proof, and they have made it obvious that some players should be protected while others can be targeted with impunity. The WNBA has spent years pleading for mainstream attention, higher attendance, better TV deals, and more media coverage. Now that they have it, thanks to Caitlyn Clark, they are responding by attacking her supporters. This is not just poor leadership, it is actively harming the league's future. You can't grow a sport by alienating new fans, and you can't create a sustainable business model by attacking the very people who are finally willing to pay attention to your product. It seems as though some league players would prefer to fail on their own terms rather than become successful with Clark as the face of women's basketball. They would rather play in venues that are only partially occupied and fly commercials than adapt to the changing environment. This mindset is harmful to every player in the league and goes beyond being petty. Everyone benefits from more revenues, and all athletes receive larger compensation as a result of stronger TV arrangements. Increased attendance enhances the atmosphere at games and the financial stability of teams, but ego and jealousy have overshadowed rational self-interest. Instead of applauding the unprecedented attention that women's basketball is receiving, there is a bizarre determination to discredit the players who are bringing it. The players deserve better, and the fans deserve better. Women's basketball deserves better leadership than that which would compromise the sport's long-term viability in order to appease personal grudges and keep control of a smaller pie. I'm not hopeful because this league has repeatedly demonstrated that they would rather be correct than successful. They would prefer to maintain the status quo than embrace positive change, even when that change brings them exactly what they've claimed to want for decades. What happens next will reveal everything about the true priorities of league leadership. Will they retract these careless statements? Will they finally address the documented hate directed at Fever players of color? Will they apologize to the Indiana fans they baselessly slandered? The saddest thing is that the people who truly care about women's basketball, the players and supporters, are the ones who lose out on all of this. They should be in a league that values development and success rather than undermining it, and they should have leaders who prioritize the game's success over personal grudges and power struggles. Instead, they are forced to put up with an administration that would sooner burn the house down than allow someone else to redecorate it. The WNBA wasted a great chance to capitalize on the unprecedented interest in women's basketball to make a point. This isn't just a mistake, it's organizational malpractice, and until the leadership realizes that expanding the pie benefits everyone, these self-defeating actions that undermine the sport they claim to support will continue to occur. The WNBA simply demonstrated who they are, and it's not pretty if you're as annoyed by this obvious double standard as I am. In order to convey the message that fans demand better, hit the subscribe button and join me as we continue to reveal the truth about women's basketball politics. The full story isn't being revealed anywhere else, so be sure to subscribe for updates as this scenario develops. Your assistance enables us to continue presenting the unvarnished truth.